What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's your boy Anthony here to break down The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 3, The Path. All right, guys, so we're back after the devastating moment that happened in the last episode. So we're here kind of dealing with the repercussions of Joel's death. As somebody that played the game, I thought this episode was awesome, to be honest with you. A lot of things were very different. A lot of the pacing, a lot of the storytelling elements were introduced now, when in the game they're introduced a little bit later. One of the big examples was the Seraphites, which is the group that you get to meet. You get to see like a group of them walking through the woods. You get to see kind of how they communicate with each other, which I thought was really cool with the whistles. This is very much straight out of the game. It's like this older Seraphite teaching like his daughter, like a younger girl in the group, kind of how to understand what's happening in the moment. One of the whistles that they hear means that there's a group of wolves coming for them, which means the WLF, which is the group that we just met, which is Abby's group. So they're from the Washington Liberation Front, which is basically the remnants of the Fireflies, which is the group that Joel decimated whenever he got Ellie out of the hospital. So you kind of get a little bit more backstory as them as a group and like what they stand for and who their enemies are. And you get to kind of see a little glimpse of the Seraphites, who obviously are like religious zealots. They kind of talk about their savior and their prophet, who is like a lady who kind of takes the pandemic outbreak and uses it as like a catalyst for her religion. And obviously it's really powerful. They have a big group of people, which we're obviously gonna flesh out a little bit longer into the story, which I'm excited for. I think you guys are, in for some pretty intense moments with these Seraphites. But then, we get to see kind of what we all suspected. Joel passed away. Ellie's pissed. So, Ellie's gonna wanna go on this revenge mission. And I thought it was a pretty interesting change. In the game, it's pretty flowing. Like you kind of understand what's happening. They kind of go on their journey and the story progresses. But we get a little bit more detail with the way that Jackson is interpreting the moment and how they're, all in this together and they're in this town meeting to kind of decide on what the fate is of the town and how they want to, either avenge Joel's death or kind of leave it be, which I thought was a pretty cool new addition, pretty cool way to have like a deep dive into the mindset of not only Ellie, but everybody in Jackson post Joel's murder. I don't really feel like they slow down the pace. I feel like they added a lot to the story. The town obviously decides that they don't really want to go through with it. Ellie is like, fuck that. Like, I'm gonna take care of this on my own. So we get to see Ellie kind of preparing herself in the room, and then she gets a knock on the door and she's trying to kind of hide what she's doing. It ends up being Dina. And then, just like the game, we get to see the beginning of their journey, which is just like the game. It is Ellie and Dina that go on this journey to kind of avenge Joel. And I'm excited to see kind of how they flesh out all those details that we know as far as game players know that are coming. I'm excited to see kind of how they treat that, because the story's on the same path, but they've done enough different things that it's really keeping us people that played the game on their toes. So we get to see Ellie say her last goodbye to Joel at the gravesite. There's a lot said with not a lot of words in that moment, and you kind of know that, Ellie's kind of letting Joel's spirit know that, I got you. I'm gonna make sure that these people pay for what they did for you. I have an idea of where we're gonna end in order to kind of progress into the next season. But I'm excited to kind of see how we get there. I know you guys are excited too. Let us know what your favorite moments were in this episode. I'd love to hear some comments from you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. We're looking forward to next week. Take it easy, guys. You guys have a good one, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.